All right. So I guess if I to introduce myself, my name is Lada. I'm from Russia. I'm from a small town in Samara region, and I'm 20 years old. And here I am.
Nice to meet you. So the first question I have for you is, do people from other regions of Russia speak differently or have different accents?
Well, actually, it's not like in English. Like we can understand each other, though there are some regional differences in pronunciation, maybe some choice of vocabulary, but we can understand each other quite well. So there isn't such thing as accent. I'd rather call them dialects or just some little specific features of some region, but that doesn't prevent communication or like that.
Okay. Do you know what slang words are?
You mean like regional slang words?
So sometimes, like in the United States, we'll have different terms depending on where we live, to communicate with each other. Slang terms are things that aren't in the dictionary, but things to express yourself, or just like little funny things to say to each other. Is that
Yeah.
kind of the same?
Yeah. There is such a thing, and sometimes when I'm glad you pointed out, because these things are actually the things that make that difference in the dialects. Because sometimes when I said the choice of vocabulary, I meant the slang words as well, because we can name one thing different names, like one object, or if we use like some spoken language, the choice is also like different. So yeah, the slang words are there and they make the difference.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. Is it typical for an employee to work up to management positions in Russian companies?
Yeah, absolutely. When actually, I'm just wondering how else can it be? Like when a person works well, then yeah, he is like promoted and yeah, going on to the managerial positions and all that.
So the hierarchy is the same sort of structure as the United States and maybe some of
Um,
the Western countries.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not very like into the the hierarchy in other countries, but as far as I know, as far as I'm educated, then yeah, it is just like that. You can be promoted and go from one position to another.
Okay. Um, Next one is, do people in your region tend to be more expressive or reserved when it comes to feelings such as anger or sadness?
Um, well, this is a difficult one. Actually, to be honest, I discussed it with my parents, and we had some, I would say, different views because they see the people of their age, I see people of my age, and but we came to the conclusion that we don't express our feelings like when you're angry, you say, I'm angry, or you offended me, something like that. It's rather that you um either keep it to yourself and like make some conclusions, like I'm not going to talk to that person anymore, like it will be shown, expressed in actions, or if the person is like an extrovert and like an expressive one, then they're going to shout at you.
Are there
Yes,
more extroverts usually or more introverts?
I would say more introverts.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Next one is your culture more community oriented or individualistic?
Well, if you compare to America, for example, then it's of course more community oriented. Like we always um, uh, basically, what I must say here is that I'm just responsible for my area. And for example, if you ask, Russia is so huge that if you ask a person from the Caucasus, for example, the answer will be totally different. If you ask a person from Moscow, I bet they'll say it's more individual, because Moscow is more like, that the state standards, European standards. Moscow is very different from Russia, very different. Yeah, and here I'd say it's more community oriented, because we always like keep in mind the people we're talking to and the people we live with and all that. So yeah, more
Do you
community.
think the small towns, such as where you live, are more community oriented versus any city?
Well, I had experience living in a city. It was Krasnodar. It was about 2,000 kilometers from my hometown. It was in the south, so the culture is different there as well. So I say for like two different cultures as well. Yeah, it was community oriented as well. I'd say it is more like community like.
Okay, I can definitely relate to that. I grew up in a small town outside of Boston. So a part of me is very Boston, and I know what the culture is like there. I know how to act when I'm in Boston, but in my little small town, it's very different. So I can definitely relate to that same kind of feeling.
Yeah, but the thing about small towns is that where I live, well, there are just like I'd say three small towns. In my town, there are just about 5,000 people. In the town nearby, there are like 12,000 people, then 10,000 people, and they are like very close, like 5 minutes proximity, something like that. Yeah, so people know each other, and they are more like more tend to be together like this. So that's just natural, I think.
Yeah. Does everybody know each other when you go to the grocery store? You see a lot of people you know and approach each other by name.
No, not really. Not for me,
Not
but
that close.
yeah, of course I can meet some people I know, but I mostly know people from school here, because we moved here when I was 12, so it was like 8 years ago, and we didn't get such a huge circle of friends here. We just know people we know, and not a lot of them. We have not been the part of this town for a long time, so we just know several people, and that's it.
Okay. So my next question is your culture more focused on success or quality of life?
Quality of life. That's just definitely quality of life, because we are very like family oriented. I'd say also community oriented in this way, because we like care about our nearest people. We care about like if a person is working on their career, it's not for like to be estimated, to be like appreciated. Well, it is for that too, but like first and foremost, there comes the family, there comes the quality of life, the money, the flat, the car, and the things that make your life like quality, better quality. Is it how I say that? Yeah,
Yeah, so the goal is a better quality of life, but with that, you need money.
Yeah, and it's not only about money actually, but also about the quality of relationship between the family and the community and all that. So yeah, there is a lot of I would say volunteer work that is not like shouting like we are volunteers and something like that. They are just doing that, like some church communities or some youth communities like that. They're just doing it for the sake of itself, and for the sake of quality of life, improvement of life, and all that. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, are traditions important in your culture? And if so, what are the most important traditions?
Here I ask, what do you define by traditions? Like,
So, like celebrating Christmas or, like holidays are usually, at least in the United States, that's the base of our traditions. Any tradition we have is centered around those holidays.
then I got here. Yeah, it is New Year and Victory Day, like the 9th of May, when the Nazi Germany was thrown away, or what do we call that? Because that's a very great day in our history, and not almost every family has some relative that was either killed at that war, or like wounded, or maybe so the whole country participated in that war. So it's like it's a thing that makes us like a community. It's the thing that everybody can relate to, because when I know, like when I studied the history of my family, there wasn't a person, there was not just one person who didn't take part. I mean, either in labor or at work, actually. So yeah, that day is very special for us, though there hasn't been, no, that's plural. There haven't been any celebration for 2 years because COVID and all that. Yeah, but usually it is a big day.
And when you celebrate, is it usually going out and celebrating, or is it usually you have family over and have a big dinner?
It's like, yeah, it's like a family celebrating, actually, or you have the family over, and there are also some like big celebrations in the cities. There are like parades, the war machines or something. There is also a very good thing. I don't know what it's called in English, but in Russian we call that Бессмертный полк, like immortal army. No, it's not army, but like that. So immortal army, let's call it like that. It's when people take up the photos of the family members that participated there, and they just go along the streets of their city, and it's like a huge flow of people, and there go the faces of those who were at that time. So this is a tradition that has been there for, I'd say, 8 years or something. Yeah, it was introduced not so long ago. Yeah.
Oh, so it's a fairly new holiday and tradition.
It's a fairly new tradition, but it's a very old holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, just a new tradition. But basically, yeah, we just go for a barbecue because it's May. The like first days of May, when it's usually warm, and after that long winter, people are very happy to go closer to nature and have a barbie and something like that.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, and this is the last question, how important is friendship in your culture? Is it common to have a lot of friends or only a few friends?
There is a very good proverb in Russian, like "Не имей 100 рублей, а имей 100 друзей." Yeah, in English, it would be like don't try to have 100 troubles, try to have 100 friends. It's an old one. Like when you have friends, you are like more likely to go through life easier, if it makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, friendship is very appreciated and valued here, and it's very valuable to have like a lifelong friend, because many friendships are made in like school years like this. And as for the quantity and quality, I'd say people tend to have like a close circle of friends, like a small one, but they must be the close people that you believe in, that you trust, and all that. Yeah.
So it's more about quality than quantity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me here. I was very, very glad to share a part of my culture, a part of my life.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yes. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you.
Yeah, me too. Same story. Just best regards from Russia to the States.
And to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.